Very good morning to all of you. This is Dr. Pranay UK, and today in this lecture, we will going to see what is the application of GIS and remote sensing to the in the earthquake and seismic studies. So, for this topic, uh, uh, I would like to go with the research paper rather than the PPTs, as this one is a very updated topic. So it's better to that you know about how the work is going on, that how the things has been now working in a research domain. So you can also apply the same methodology and same thing in your upcoming research for your dissertation and your post graduation, after the post graduation for research and all. So today I'm discussing about what about the seismic, what is the seismic activity we can measure, and how we can study the seismic activity with the help of GIS. And so I'm discussing here two paper. First paper is applying remote sensing, applying remote sensing for the seismic hazard assessment. So, so among the many kind of natural and man-made disasters, so as we know that we study the most of the disaster, earthquake are dominated. Earthquake dominated with regard to their socially, economically impact on the urban environment. You know that seismic hazard assessment for industrial object is of substantial importance because of what. So if you have a area which is under the earthquake zone, so earthquake is not like the other disaster, and also earthquake may happen anytime. It may be happen thrice in a year. It may be happen for once in a 10 years. So there is a no certain measurement for the earthquake that can you can have idea about how many time it can. So it having a hazardous if it is in an industrial area. So the main objective of the study is to integrate basic geodata set in a thematic mapping, produce and assess the seismic hazard using the GIS techniques to provide a basic for a disaster management of the case study. This is one of the case study which is in from the uh, uh, from the one of the country that is a part of the this one. So earthquake are most deadly of the natural disaster. So all of us know that earthquake are not means it's not at all good for humankind, or we have lots of property loss, life loss, and many other effect of this earthquake. So, earthquakes are most deadly of the natural disaster which affecting the human environment. Indeed, the catastrophic earthquake have marked the whole human history. The global seismic risk and particularly vulnerability are increasing steadily as urbanization and development occupy more areas that are prone to effect of strong earthquake. Additionally, the uncontrolled urban growth in highly seismic area is often associated with the construction of seismically unsafe building and infrastructure, and undertaken with an insufficient knowledge of an regional seismic hazard. So you know you should have a sufficient knowledge about the area for the proper knowledge about this one. Then what the effective implementation of the GIS in disaster management? So effective implementation of GIS means you have a software or GIS, a technique, remote sensing technique, and GIS useful for the of disaster management, for the research and in many areas. So including the data collection is a first step. So whenever you going for any operation, The first step is data collection. The first step is a data collection. The seismic hazard assessment include a detailed quantitative and qualitative data analysis and evaluation of physical, environmental, social, and economic factors and consequences. Collecting, structuring, and utilizing comprehensive spatial data is essential for disaster prevention. The development of GIS application and digital maps is needed as a base for the preparedness and evaluation of regional vulnerability regarding earthquake hazard. So you have a development of GIS application and digital maps, which is needed as the base for the preparedness and evaluation of the region's vulnerability regarding the earthquake hazard. The main objective of the present study is to integrate basic spatial geodata in a thermal mapping, which produce and to assess the seismic hazard using the GIS technique to provide a basis for disaster management of one of the region from the Ada Tepe region from Bulgaria. So the GIS approach applied here is for the analysis. So what kind of data set they are used, and this is a study area. This is not our that much of use. Now, what is the main component we are going to see? That is the material and methodology. Means what kind of material we are methodology we are adapting to having a seismic zonation of that particular area. So you have special pattern of seismogenic structure in the this region. So what this region is all about identify as a geological and geophysical seismo. So you have a data set. You have a data set from the different region that can be used for this one. So this is first you have need a lineament map or an active fault map of the region. So you can get from the any of the paper, research paper, or from the several data set. In case of our Indian subcontinent data, you may get the lineament map from the Bhuvan website. From Bhuvan portal, you can use those lineament geomorphology map for the display. The geodynamic of the region is determined mainly by the subduction of African plate, and so this is a typical geomorphology of that area. So if you are working in a Himalayan domain, you may know should know about the what is the exactly geomorphology of that region. What is the exactly geomorphology of that region? Then you have a geophysical data consist of grids with a cell of 1 kilometer for gravity and 3 kilometer for magnetics. A 15 profile having a northeast southwest orientation were also used to constrain gravity and magnetic interpretation result. First, gravity data, that is a Boger reduction, were transformed to the magnitude of the total horizontal gradient. The map indicated the axis of steep gravity transition by the lines of minimum gradient value given in the dark color. Second, Euler discontinuation Venner. So these all are the applied for the grid and profile data. This inverse method is yield valuable information for the investigation concerning multiple source anomalies. So these all are the nothing but the what we have. These all are the data set which we require. So this is a this is nothing but the area which is having a what kind of earthquake in a last 120 years. So you have a history, you have some instrumental data as well. You have some historical data. So the instrumental data will be instrumental data will be 19 40, 1920 and onward. So after this one, you have a before this one you have a, some historical data which is written in a book. So whatever the instrumental data you have, that data is having a more accuracy, more precision, and the authenticity of this data is high. So after the 19th century, whatever the data is you are using, that all data are mostly authenticate data. But the whatever the data that is historical data we have, that data is mostly we are not that much of reliable. Yes, but for information we are using the data, but is not in that much of requirement, or not in that much of use for this data. So why it's not that much of use? Because in earlier days before the 19th century, you don't have a Richter scale, and you don't have this magnitude and the accurate instrument to measure this data. So all the things are, whatever the written things are there, they are just a relatively based studies. Means earthquake, yes, this earthquake is a major earthquake than, or more devastated earthquake than the previous one, and this all. So this is how you can have a different kind of data set. Then you have a result. So after studying this all aspect, after studying this all the aspect, seismic hazard is the probability that various level of strong ground motion will be exceeded during the specified time period at a site. The ground motion level, the ground motion level may be expressed in a terms of peak ground acceleration and peak response spectral amplitude for the range of frequencies. Probabilistic estimate of design ground motion level are derived directly from the hazard analysis. In this study, a key component of hazard analysis was the development of seismic route model, which present seismotectonic information as a spatial approximation of earthquake location and reoccurrence. So this is again a data set which we have a seismic source model. Means from where you have a more what is the seismic source of that particular area. Okay, so like what is the seismic source? Seismic source means sometime what happen, you have earthquake at one place which is propagated from the another place, which will be propagated. Uh, that's why sometimes you don't have idea about from which place it get propagated. So if this one is propagated from the other side, it is you should know about which fault is responsible for this, and which of the area from which this all are originated. After this one, you have a earthquake. You have a earthquake which having a. So so the for the each seismic source that is defined, a geometry, earthquake distribution in the source, earthquake reoccurrence frequency, and maximum potential earthquake magnitude. The area source defines the region that are assumed to have a similar seismicity, a characteristic that are distinct from the neighboring zone and are exclusive of identified active faults. This source type display low to moderate dispersed seismicity. A mixed source of type is a seismic source in which one or more active faults are defined within the boundary of area source. For seismic hazard assessment, were used to model a seismic source and their seismic parameter. A homogenized catalog for a region with the, so you all, after this all the study, you can assess that what is the what is the source for their whatever we are having a spectral and amplitude and all, what is the source for the attenuation, and what is the source for the your seismic activity. So now come to the main characteristic of the our GIS and remote sensing. So what kind of data you use? You have to integrate that all the data. You have to integrate all data. So you have a geological map. You have a geological map. You have a geophysical map. You have a seismicity map. You have a ortho photos, whatever the photographs, aerial photographs and all are used. Then you have a LULC pattern of the area, transportation map, uh, altitude wise differences, DEM, hydrography and CLC. So these all are the data set. These all are the data set which we use often. So geo dataset were investigate integrated for developing basic thematic map as a part of GIS, Geographic Information Services, for the disaster prevention. So disaster prevention means you cannot stop the disaster to happen. Okay, you cannot stop to disaster to be happen, but if you can better manage that disaster by studying this all, and uh, being a good, if you doing the good management, you can have a good amount of prevention of life and all. So data integration includes the several GIS procedure providing data consistency, format compatibility, geometrical integration and all. So geodatabase data model was developed to ensure an integral and comprehensive data structure, and to integrate the GIS solution in seismic hazard assessment. It includes the following component: geodata set, relationship, and seismic hazard assessment model. A data dictionary was constructed in order to create an effective respiratory repository of information that support a different stakeholder for the disaster management. The data dictionary contains a description of all the feature and attributes currently used. It describes the collection of dataset and includes the information about the object type, feature, definition, attribute types, and all those things. So you have a SHA, that is a seismic hazard assessment. So the geodatabase is used to implement for the this seismic hazard assessment. So so this is a main topic, main things with how you can integrate the remote sensing and GIS dataset, and how you can perform the different operation. So you have a special data, special geo data set, which is a geo database, and a different kind of database we have. So you have a vector data, a raster data, image data, DM data, and metadata. In the form of all, you have this different kind of things. Then you have a layer, attribute, and map. Then you have a layer, attribute, and map. So this kind of special geodatabase you required for the study. Then you have a seismic hazard assessment and geodatabase. Then you have a seismic hazard assessment, geodatabase, all. So when you have a geo data set, you require earthquake maps, earthquake statistic, which is happened after the 1900, before the 1900, the elevation, which is hydrography. Then you have a land cover, settlement, small earthquake, total horizontal gradient. So this all the earthquake you are having in a seismic hazard assessment. Then you have a geographical data. Then you have a geographical data, which is having a settlement data, hydrography data, land cover, administrative boundaries, transformation, elevation, digital. So all this geographical data set you have to required for the seismic hazard assessment. So this is a schema for the geo data set you required for the study. Then you require a geomagnetic data set if you have gravity, a total horizontal gradient, and all. Then you have earthquake data before 1900 and after 1900. This is all are the seismological data set we have. So the conclusion of a set of 1,92,000 hazard curve is the curve from the seismic hazard zonation performed for this site. The family of hazard curve and their association weight contain the information about the seismic hazard at the time and its uncertainty. Computation of the uniform confidence response spectra is performed simultaneously with the PGA evaluation using the same procedure. The special propagation path for the seismic wave. So the GIS data integration is a key, and it's very useful for the ensure the data interpretability of data when combining the processing and visualizing the existing homogeneous data set in different format from the different sources. Next challenge is to provide a appropriate disaster information not only from the existing data but also from the operational data. Web GIS with the scalable structure is of interest to us in the future work because it will provide the opportunity for real-time access and simultaneous informed decision-making process for all the stakeholders involved. Further, the effort are needed to produce an interoperable GIS for effective decision making in the disaster management. One possible way to deal with the interoperability issue is the use of ontology for overcoming heterogeneity in the geospatial information data sharing and data integration. So this is all are the data set we are using for the seismic zonation and the seismic hazard, how we can integrate the seismic hazard. This is one of the paper. Now we are going to see the another research paper of the similar topic, GIS in a seismology. GIS in a seismology. So this is also from paper from the Romania, which discuss about the contribution of evaluation of hazard and risk. So GIS, as we all know, the fundamental tool that exploit the and link with the other dimension. So this is how we use a seismic, uh, how we use this GIS for the seismic hazard solution. So in previous paper, what you see the what different kind of data set we are using for this seismic study. So in seismic hazard and risk assessment, the need of considering the location is embedded. The need of all the need of this one is embedded in all of the what we can say the its link, and the GIS can find its place almost in all field of study. So in seismology also hazard and risk assessment, the need of considering location is embedded in the very definition of the term. But GIS can do much more than the providing distance measurement and the solution for mapping. Among its numerous practice application, we mentioned that it can allow a complex modeling of the data, provide a spatial and geostatistical analysis tool, provide filtering capabilities, enable a overlay analysis, have the function of all in one platform with the database management, development, automation, and sharing capabilities. So, as reflected by more and more studies, as reflected by more and more studies such as Leonard and ISRI and all. The role of GIS become a the role of GIS become more major in seismology. Geoscience is in a need of geographical instrument. The generic mapping tool or QGIS have been are still being widely used by the seismologists. They have are all the open source, but other commercial software such as ArcGIS are also a great reference. So, if you don't have a license copy of ArcGIS, you can go with the QGIS, but ArcGIS is the best one. In this paper, we will show the and how to interpret the different maps, while are also a basic product of GIS that were obtained not only by the representing data but specific to the seismology. Then you have a processing earthquake catalog. So you have a earthquake catalog means earthquake that do not respect a national boundary. Okay, earthquake you don't see such like that earthquake only restricted to the Indian border or Bangladesh border or Sri Lanka border or Afghanistan border like that. So earthquake not respect any national boundary. That is why national earthquake catalog might not be completely useful when assessing when assessing science hazard in a near completely useful when assessing seismic hazard in a near border region. But also as our experience showed, a national catalog are more precise for the area they focus on. When also trying to consider earthquake with the small or a moderate magnitude, a compilation between the sources multiple sources and all tool when creating the you creating the uh, biases earthquake by combining the Rome plus catalog. So for Romania, we choose to mostly earthquake from the for Romania we choose mostly earthquake from the Rome plus catalog. Notice that the other source of data providing in some cases event located completely wrong or with the unreliable magnitude and depth. For near border region, we compare the location provided by different data sources and made an expert based selection. So for more distant area, the we use a software SHEE. So without GIS, it would have been considerably difficult to identify duplicate or misplaced earthquake and to see how far to go beyond national border in the effort assessing overall national seismic hazard. The aforementioned earthquake catalog was also easily integrated in WebGIS app, which allow visualization, filtering, and download capabilities with this product. So, whatever the things the past WebGIS problem related to the speed of plotting multiple points in the same time on a map are now overpassed in dynamic point clustering. So, whatever the error and whatever the problem faced in previous version of the GIS, now it get resolved. So, GIS work with this dimension, allowing automatic implementation of the clustering and declustering and all. So, what you can do, you can have a WebGIS app presenting the earthquake catalog and the seismic source defined through the use of GIS. So this is how you can use a WebGIS app for the this study. What the other map you require? You require a shake map obtained automatically in GIS based on real time real data from the 30 station and two different GMPE model. So all this one is going to see using the GIS for seismic risk management analysis, using GIS for seismic risk analysis, the contribution of GIS within a risk and evaluation at a national level. So what is the contribution of GIS for a risk? For in which you can have a geological seismological map for that particular state, that what is the estimated hazard in the state. So you can see that what kind of hazard we are in. Then urban vulnerability and risk assessment is a great challenge. The interact relation to this complex environment are difficult to explain the model. There are many aspects to be considered. There are many aspects that to be considered for the your what we can say the for the this urban vulnerability. So recently we are able to acquire data from the 2011 national census. So in case of this national census population and building, we are going to use this one. So this is how the your urban vulnerability. So this is a map which is having a what kind of a data set used and a project to determine the a different kind of disaster. So it's not happen that only the earthquake can make a disaster for this one. So you can have a earthquake, you can have a landslide index, you can have a importance road damage, and also how much damage it if the your earthquake is there, how much it can causes the different earth features to disturb. Shall you know? This is a map that deficiating the database used within the role is final to determine the potential final to potential seismic damage or movement. The formula show the diagram used to compare the risk of the zone. So figure 6 reflect the result of seismic urban risk analysis addressed to the determining which can be uh, service area and time of intervention. So the ArcGIS is a network analysis module was main framework using the computation of the different data set. So GIS in seismology, we believe that also reflect best practices in mapping earthquake related feature as initiative by the GIS and seismology is clear. Future common development are certain. So this is how this two paper will explain you about how the uh, how this all earthquake activities, seismic hazard zonation, and all you can study using this one. So this is a two paper which I discuss here today. So now, what is the requirement of any particular data set. So what data set you require? I always already given you that. This kind of layers you have to form for the earthquake hazard or hazard analysis, seismic hazard analysis. So this kind of different layers we form in a seismic hazard analysis. Seismic hazard analysis. So one, two, three, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, four, four to six. What we can say the 4 to 6 layer you have to form 4, 6. So the geological map, geophysical map, seismicity map, aerial photographs, the settlement map. So all these map you required to produce for the construction of the what we can say the seismic hazard zonation map. So that's how you can have a seismic hazard zonation map. So, by studying the hazard and for the other application of this seismicity of the GIS and what we can say the remote sensing is by Google Earth, also by the some satellite image also you can find out the major fold and fault. If there is a river which can follow the path and suddenly changes its path, means there is a something subsurface activity or subsurface this one or superficial expression of this one is there. That's how you can have interpretation like this one, interpretation like this one. So you have to interpret those data set which you seen in a Google Earth or what we can say the on the satellite images. So accordingly the satellite image and your whatever the lineament, whatever the river channel transist or behavior or anomalous behavior of river channel, that all are occurred before the major earthquake, a major earthquake. So this is how what data integration is all about. So this is all about the data integration. You can have a different data set and you have to join in overlay analysis so that you can have a factor or different factors in your study. So what the factor you have to give? You have to give means for the seismicity, what kind of geology is mostly common in seismicity study, seismological study. The seismological study is having uh, a different kind of a data set which we used here in the overlay analysis. So, for example, what kind of what is the you are going to give the ranking to different sets of the rock? How you can giving the ranking? So for the transportation, it's very hard to this one, and you have a seismicity map. Seismicity maps means you have to plot the lat long and the previous with previous earthquakes. Whatever the previous earthquakes we have, so that previous earthquake is going to the previous studies or previous data set going to incorporate in this map so that you can have a more idea about which area is having in a zone of the hazard and other is not able or not in a zone of the hazard of the earthquake. So earthquake is mostly occurred in the fault and this mountain and the area which having a uh, subsurface activities always going on. So this is a different kind of layers for the for the earthquake study used by the GIS. This is all about your application of GIS in a remote sensing application of remote sensing and GIS in a earthquake study, that is a seismological study basically. We seen through this what two one two three uh, what we can say the study. So hope you understand this lecture. Hope you understand this lecture and find suitable for your study. So uh, now the question is only that how you can add on the data or so there is a different website like you have a one, okay, like you have a one, like you have a different agencies like ISRO, RRSAC, SAC, and all. So you can get the area data easily from that centers. So the central government uh, uh, central government. So the This all the studies has to be carried out to avoid a loss of damage done by the earthquake. So seismic zonation map is giving the brief idea about how you can study and how you can imagine and predict the earthquake in the your area, how much it can be, and what is your preparedness and this risk for the uh, earthquake analysis of the by the earth. So this is all about this is all about seismological the application of remote sensing and this GIS in seismological studies. Uh, Now I'm going to close this session. For the next lecture, we will see about the different one more different concept about this one. What we can say the uh, seismic hazard map zonation and all.